ナードホールズ、ケイレブとウィル、ドラゴンボールを視聴。
Alright, everybody, welcome back to the Dragon Ball Rewatch Cast. This is episode, 13.
That sounds
Oh,
good.
yeah. I'll edit it. You'll hear me be like, it's episode
15.
14. It's got to be somewhere in there. It's got to be 13, 14, somewhere in there. You would think I would know. I make the thumbnails, but
Nope.
no clue. Yeah, so we are starting the King Piccolo Saga, Season 8, 1988. So last time on Dragon Ball, they fought in the tournament. Tien Shinhan went against his master. He fought Goku, and Tien won the tournament. And they all went to dinner, and then Krillin got his neck snapped. Yeah. And that's where we left off.
Yeah.
And that's where we start up. So, Will, as your first time watching this series, what are your thoughts about this section of the King Piccolo saga? We watched episodes 102 to 111. So we ended at Piccolo's wish. So, what are your thoughts?
It's definitely it broke new ground for me a lot. And it definitely feels like it's getting into more of the content I'm used to from what I've seen as a kid.
Yeah.
It still obviously is very Dragon Ball-esque. Like, it's still not exactly Dragon Ball Z, but it's much closer to that. So it was surprising because, I don't know, the show hasn't really felt like this is what the show, I mean, it didn't, like, up until this point, up until Krillin dying, it was just a very much like, oh, bad guy appears, Goku may or may not get beat up by the bad guy. A handful of episodes later, he defeats the bad guy, they move on.
Yeah.
And like intermix them collecting the Dragon Balls to make a wish or a tournament. Like, that's just been a stretch. And now it's like, it's still collecting the Dragon Balls, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah. There's actually like stakes.
Right.
Like, stakes are a lot higher. It's not as whimsical.
Right, exactly.
Krillin's death is kind of like a pivotal move in
Right.
a different direction, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty it's pretty great writing too, because I think, like, just as you kind of understand the, like you were saying, the like arc, it's find the Dragon Balls, get a wish, do a tournament, and then bad guy comes, get the Dragon Balls, make a wish, then there's another tournament, and now it's like, okay, you're still getting the Dragon Balls, but like you're trying to stop this bad guy from getting the Dragon Balls. And it's not just Pilaf, because Pilaf is easy.
Right.
Pilaf is a pushover, but he's really dangerous in the fact that, like, he knows things about,
right,
like, things that doors that he should never open.
right. True.
Yeah. So were you excited to see your buddy Pilaf again?
It was nice to see him again, to be honest. I do like that they keep calling back, like, very beginning characters. I do like that.
I don't know where he keeps getting money from. He's got that big plane with his name on it now.
Sells his slippers.
Oh, he's so stupid.
Oh yeah, he's terrible.
He's so stupid.
They're all terrible.
Yeah. Well, Mai just kind of goes along. Mai and Shu, they just kind of go along with it, you know.
Oh yeah. They're still mad.
And so you remember Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. So,
well, yeah, some version of him apparently. Yeah.
So it's cool for you to get to see for the first time, kind of like where he comes from and his origin.
Yeah, it was weird because, like, I mean, obviously we'll get into it, but like when the last little bit what happened, I was like, I was like, that's not really what I
Hmm.
expected. You know what I mean?
Oh, you thought when he got his youth back, he was gonna look like
Yeah.
Piccolo that you know? Yeah,
Hmm.
I can see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, there's a lot more that we'll get into. But you also were introduced to a new character this saga.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yajirobe. Yeah, there he is. Ugh. You finally have a character that eats as much as Goku
I think more. Definitely more. Definitely more. He talks about eating way more
all the
than
time. Yeah,
that.
it's pretty great. He's just like a wild, like man out in
Yeah.
the wilderness, you know. Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's a pretty funny character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't mind him. He's interesting.
It's cool to see somebody with a like katana too, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that he's like same and also different than a lot of the characters we've come across. Like he's
Hmm.
similar in some ways and he's different in other ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I kind of spoiled you. You texted me about him and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's kind of like Oolong. He's kind of like a coward." And you're like, "Really?" And I was like, "No, maybe not. I don't remember. I'm not there yet." But
Yeah.
he kind of does towards like
Kind
once he
of.
was like, "Oh, I remember Piccolo. I'm gonna hide behind this tree," and just let Goku get
Yeah.
knocked around, you know?
Yeah. It was a thing where it's like when that happened, like I understood what you meant, but at the same time, I was like, at the same time, I don't know. It's like it's hard because like Piccolo is terrible, so it's like
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I should
I don't
say
know if
King
he's
Piccolo is terrible.
I don't
So
know if he's really a coward or if he just knows when he's outmatched and he's not stupid enough to like try to fight.
yeah, so far he hasn't super showed to me like being a coward, but
Yeah,
doesn't mean he's not.
I don't know. He might be. He might not be. I know there's yeah. I was just hoping that like during Goku's fight with Piccolo that he would like come up with his sword from behind or something, but
Mm,
never did nothing.
no.
Just let a poor child get punched repeatedly into the ground.
He certainly did.
Yeah. So do you like how I think we've talked about it before, but like the Saiyans all have like vegetable names?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Like Vegeta is
Yeah.
like vegetable and Kakarot is carrot.
Yeah.
And then now Piccolo are all musical instruments.
Yes. Yes.
So Piccolo, so that main guy that you have up there, his name is Tambourine.
Yeah.
Tambourine.
Tambourine, yeah.
What was the other guy's name? I don't remember the other guy's name.
Symbol.
Symbol. It's a terrible name. And he was I think it's the first time we've seen like a bad guy get like eaten.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was
So
like, I
it's
don't
like,
Goku was like, I
yeah, I
don't
don't
think
think you should
I
eat
don't think you do
monster. Yeah.
that. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, it's fine.
Yeah. It's just funny to me too. It's like if he was able to defeat Piccolo, would Yajirobe have eaten like this actual humanoid?
Absolutely.
The dinosaur guy I get,
Sure, yeah.
but anybody that walks on like two legs is humanoid, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna eat him." Like, jeez.
Yeah, that's why my name is Hurdy Gurdy, because that's a rare instrument.
Mouth harp, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good. That's pretty
What is
funny.
it? Thurmanin or something like that?
Yeah. All right. All right. So let's do what we usually do here and let's kind of go through these relatively quickly because now that we're in like the end half, we cover a lot more episodes. Remember like season one when we'd watch like 6 episodes?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't do that anymore
Nope.
because like these last like couple sagas have been like
They're
20,
big.
30
Yeah.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're big. And they're big stretches.
Yeah. But they're still just bite-sized 20-minute episodes, which is nice.
It does help, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard
So,
because it's like there are a couple episodes of this where it's like they're kind of not, I don't want to say filler, but they're kind of like they're padded, and you're like, okay, they
mhm.
introduce something dramatic at the end of one episode, and you're like, oh wow. And then you
Yeah.
go to watch the next episode, and it immediately goes to like either like Yamcha and the gang doing something, and then you're on that for 2-3 minutes, and then it goes over to
Mm,
this thing, and then a big backstory, and then a
mhm.
little bit of something, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's the thing that you've been waiting for, and it's like, oh, but that's next time's episode. Yeah, okay, like, yeah,
Yeah.
just funny.
Yeah. That's anime.
Yeah.
All right, so episode 102 is Enter King Piccolo. This is the one where Goku leaves the arena there and flies after Tambourine, like immediately.
Yeah. Takes them
And
down.
Roshi tells him not to go, and then they see that like sign, that like calling card that they put on the corpses. It
Oh
says like
yeah.
demon.
Yeah, it's like his basically it's like the master not master, King Piccolo's
Hmm.
like
Like,
house or something, right?
yeah, basically. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yep.
So
Yep.
in this, I don't know if you'll keep this in, you might edit this out. There is I think it's in this episode. There is a shot. I thought there's the thumbnail,
Mm.
and it's Goku holding Krillin,
Hmm.
and it's like all stylized. Like
Oh
killing,
yeah.
they're like dark blue, and they're like looking, and like he's like Goku's holding them and stuff. I thought,
Hmm.
there it is.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Are you still happy every time that there's like a sad scene and you hear that like that awful
Oh,
instrument that they use?
wow,
They still
wow.
use it. They still use
Oh
it.
yeah, they don't want to.
Wang, wang. It's like some Australian thing or something.
I feel so sad when I hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's
But
pretty good.
this is like the thing that we learn about because Roshi gives the backstory,
Mm-hmm.
and we learn about Master Mutaitu,
Motaitu and the evil containment wave.
which he uses the evil containment wave to put him in. Now they call it
A
like,
rice cooker.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, is it?
Yeah.
That's a rice cooker. I was like,
Yeah. You just use whatever you have on hand, you know. But it was
yeah,
cool to see Roshi and Shen like
yeah,
young and like actually fighting bad guys. And this
it
is
was
Roshi
cool.
said that like after this, like Shen was never the same after that. So that's why he's such a jerk now.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool.
And that Pilaf finds the rice cooker.
Yeah, get down in that.
They don't call it that. They call it like containment jar or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they throw it into the deepest part of the ocean where Pilaf like just knew it was down there.
Yeah.
He's the only one that has money to go down there and get it. Yeah, so Pilaf thinks that like he's gonna help Piccolo regain all his strength, and then Piccolo's gonna give him like a third of the earth to rule over.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, where
Yeah.
Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman is gonna nuke uh the fault there. I don't know if it's the San Andreas fault, but he's gonna like basically
Mm.
bomb and cause a massive earthquake and have California slide off sink into the ocean, and then everybody will want real estate there, and he'll buy up all of the land. He'll buy up all the land,
Hmm.
and when he's showing on the map, like thing, there's a little section cut out, and it says Otisburg, and that's like his little minion guy's friend name, Otis.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, Otisburg. It's like, what is this then? And he's like, well, it's just a little piece, Mr. Luther. It's just a tiny little piece. He's like, Otisburg. So it just reminded me of that when he was like, can I have, well, just a tiny, like swamp, just some swamp. That would be
Just some
nice.
swamp land. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah,
Yeah, made me laugh.
yeah. I'm sure it'll work out for him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
Piccolo seems like a guy we can all trust.
we can. Yeah. He's also huge, right?
That's very gigantic.
In that chair. Well, because we're so used to seeing the Dragon Balls and stuff, and then he's like, Dragon Ball. I was
True,
like, oh,
true.
oh, okay. So he's like huge. And he's got that like sweet like chair with made out of like bone or whatever it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had to like resurrect him out of the containment jar. Then they had to go somewhere and like get that throne
Yeah. Yes.
and put that on his ship, That's pretty great.
I don't know what the pterodactyl guy's name is. I'm sure he has an instrument name, but he was there too.
Oh, yeah. That's like his, I don't know what she is, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so basically Piccolo wants to reuse the Dragon Balls to wish for his youth back.
Yep. 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 Yep.
All right, so 103 is tambourine attacks.
He certainly does.
Yeah, so Goku and Tambourine fight. But Goku's starving because he didn't eat dinner because he knew Krillin was hurt.
Yeah.
So he gets beat up pretty good here. And also
Yeah.
Tambourine blows up the Nimbus.
Pretty intense.
Yeah.
He pretty much beats up Goku, then blows up the Nimbus, and then once Goku hits the ground, he then beats him up on the ground, and then
Oh
leaves.
yeah, he does, yeah. Everybody in the show, they love like getting your opponent on the ground and then like knee dropping from the sky onto their back. It's
Oh yeah.
pretty good. That's a pretty good move. Yeah, yeah.
But then they like this is the thing that like I was really surprised about. It really it really surprised me like what they went on to do.
Mm. What, he took the list of names from the
Right. Well, it's like, well, they
tournament?
took them, and you're like, okay, sure. Like whatever. Like, of course. It's just like he's going to find martial arts people and like
Hmm.
attack them. And then it's like you figure he's going to attack Roshi and Yamcha and Goku and Tien. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what you assume. And then he goes and he's like he's fighting like Choppa
yeah.
and Pumput and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Destroys them. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. So I think that's the thing. Like Piccolo is worried that if all of these martial artists joined together, they would have a chance of defeating him.
Sure, yeah, sure.
So if he just gets rid of them, it's funny that even in this situation where like he is wanting like world of domination, it's still funny that like him as a person is a martial artist and he like hates martial artists.
Oh yeah.
It's like everybody in the show, they're just always martial arts like people.
Hmm.
They just love it. They love fighting. They love martial arts. It's great. But yeah, it's cool seeing all of the people in tournaments again.
Yeah, it was really surprising to see like those specifically. And then I know the next episode we get into different things, but
Hmm.
I was like, oh, okay. Like we're not pulling away from pulling in people from the past.
And it does this thing where it's showing you like, hey, so you remember all these people that were really good fighters in the tournament that like even Goku and Yamcha and Krillin like had a hard time fighting.
Yeah.
And it's showing you like, okay, so here's how strong like just this one dude is. This isn't even Piccolo. This is like his one like minion dude.
Yeah.
Like, look how strong this guy is.
Mouse
And
egg
you're
boy.
like, yeah, yeah. And you're like, oh yeah. So that's like showing it's like it's setting up this, you know, oh yeah, these guys are pretty strong.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. I think that's cool storytelling.
It is.
All right, so 104 is Mark of the Demon. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first
So
third one.
Tambourine is still out killing all of the fighters. I think this is the one where you see bacteria again,
Yeah, right. This is what I mean. Like
right?
this is was even more surprising than the Choppa Pampa stuff because like that happened and I
Hmm.
was like, oh, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden it's
Because
like
yeah.
Bacterian and they show Man Wolf on a page
Oh yeah.
and somebody else too. I don't remember who the other person was, but
The Man Wolf one was funny because it was like he looks like this sometimes, but he also looks like this sometimes.
yes, yes.
I was like, no, he looks like the other one because there's no moon anymore. Because we forget in this universe that there's no moon.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
Yeah,
reference later in the stretch too, and I was like, man, they just don't. I was like, okay,
yeah.
no, yeah,
Well, it's one of those things that it's like, I don't know. They're not. It's like it's funny blowing up the moon. Like it would have like severe like consequences to the Earth.
yeah,
But in this show, it's just one of those things where it's like we're not falling back on Goku turning into a giant ape.
true,
So
true.
like when things get really bad, like we're not using that as like a saving grace thing, which I think is cool. Um, yeah. So
This is
this is when he
piano, piano. That's the name of the.
that's her name
Yeah,
for
well,
the
I
pterodactyl.
think it's a boy, but yeah,
Oh, that is a thought it had a girl's name or a girl's voice.
it does sound like a girl, but I think it's a boy.
So his name is Piano.
Yeah,
That's a little bit more on the head, I think. Well, I don't know. Symbol. This is the one where he gives birth to Symbol,
yep.
which is cool. It's disgusting. Yeah, so Symbol's job is to gather the Dragon Balls, and Tambourine's job is to kill all the martial artists. Um, this is also Goku wakes up in the forest and needs like food immediately.
Yeah,
He finds that giant fish.
yeah. Isn't this like where he wakes up and the frog is like licking him, and then he attempts to get food, and then a fruit tries to eat Goku,
Hmm. Yeah, that fruit tree. Yeah, tries to
and
eat his head.
then he tries to eat a kangaroo, and the kangaroo punches him.
Yeah, and then he just happens to find that giant fish cooking on the fire,
Yeah,
and he's like, "This is weird."
cool.
He eats the whole thing. This is also Roshi and the gang like move Kame
Yeah,
House to like that
that
island.
was wild. I didn't
Yeah,
know it was a capsule house.
everything is a capsule in this universe.
They were just like, oh, okay. Then I was just like, oh, all right. 'Cause-
It's funny because it's like I always keep coming back to this thought, like the button for the capsule is on the outside because you can't push it when you're on the inside.
no,
But that means that like anybody could just walk up to it and push it.
yeah,
And we know that you would stay in it because
everything stays fine, right?
yeah, because they put is this the episode where they put Krillin in a capsule?
I think they talk about doing it. Did they actually do it though? I don't remember.
I thought they did it before they moved over to that island. Maybe it's the next episode.
They talk about putting him in a freezing thing so that it preserves his body.
Yeah, I don't see it on here. I don't see anything about Krillin. No. No, but I think it's just I think it's before they moved the house. They put him in that little like glass chamber thing.
Yes, likely.
Yeah. I like how his body it doesn't have rigor mortis yet.
Mm.
They like lay him in there and he's all like floppy.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think that's how that works, but like how he always has that like horrible expression on his face.
yeah,
His head is
yes.
always like sideways. He's just got that blank look.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they put him in a capsule and then
Then they see that
puts
like
it somewhere in the house, remember? She's like, we have to keep this
I
safe,
really
and
don't remember.
she puts it like up on the shelf or something. I don't remember.
All I
But
remember
that's an
is
interesting.
after they talk about it, they show on the TV like the report about
Mm.
artists, martial artists getting killed.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And they're like, well, we don't really know. This is kind of weird.
And then this was one of the most things that I was like, oh, like this show is really going kind of hard in the paint now because like having Krillin be dead was like a thing, and obviously showing King Choppa and like Pampa like like and then like the thing being tossed on their body was like, oh, okay,
Mm.
that's intense, and then like bacteria
Oh,
being like electrocuted, it was like,
I s
okay,
is this when he
but
shows up to the village? No, that's the next.
no, it's like this is where they show Man Wolf's body like floating down the
Oh,
river, like bloody. And I was just like, oh.
oh, yeah,
I was like, okay, this is not.
yeah. Well, it
And
gets
he's
worse.
like, I think
It,
he's pale too.
yeah, it gets worse in. I think it's the next one.
Probably. They all, I just remember
Mm,
once I saw the Man Wolf body, I was like, oh, okay. It's like, this is not, you know,
yeah.
this is not like just a
Oh,
normal, like,
okay.
oh, they're beaten up or whatever.
No, he's they're done. Yeah. It's 2 episodes from now, but we'll get to when he goes
Oh,
to
okay.
that village, and that's kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah. So Goku eats Yajirobe's fish, and we don't. I think we see him at the end. He comes out of the woods.
Yeah, I think we just kind of see part of him. I don't think we can get enough to know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So episode 105 is Here Comes Yajirobe.
Here he comes.
Yeah. So they fight a little bit.
What they call it?
Goku. Hmm.
Breckus.
What is it?
He calls it like Breckus or something.
Oh,
He's mad
Breckus.
or something like that, right? He's like, "You ate my Breckus" or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I like how the whole time Goku's talking to him, he doesn't notice that he's wearing a Dragon
Oh,
Ball around his neck, And then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey."
you don't. Because he thinks it's his or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, Goku, whenever he sees a Dragon Ball, assumes that his grandfather's Dragon Ball until he looks at it and he has to count the numbers on the number of stars on it.
Yeah.
One, two. Oh,
So,
that's not it.
so here's the interesting thing that I was thinking about. And I know it's like just a writing thing and not really like true. But like he says that he found the Dragon Ball 3 years ago in the jungle, right? And I was like, great, but isn't 3 years ago when they get like launched everywhere, right?
Mm,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
maybe.
And I was thinking, wouldn't he have just picked up like a shiny white stone
Hmm.
And it's like that would be fine, but it's just like I don't know, it just felt like they were like, oh, the Dragon Ball, and I was like, wouldn't it take a year before it would turn into a Dragon Ball? So it would only be like 2 years ago, kind of thing.
Yeah, it does take a full year for it to turn back into the
Right,
clear yellow.
right.
Has it been 3 years or has it been more?
Maybe it has been more. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought for some reason it was 5 years since they.
It's very likely. Or maybe it's 6 years or something. I don't know.
Mm.
Because he's like, isn't there a thing where they have the tournament every 6 years or
Mm,
4 years or something like that? I don't know.
I I think the tournament's every five. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds good.
Uh, I don't know. That makes sense. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
Sure, it's not.
But yeah, they basically fight each other briefly, and then he learns about the Dragon Ball, and then Symbol shows up.
Hmm. They play rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to fight him.
Yeah. And yeah, that's why, that's kind of, I think that's when you texted me, or it was like the next episode. It's kind of a
Yeah.
coward. And I was like, is he? Because,
Really? Yeah, he just single-handedly like defeated this monster. Yeah, it was really funny. I don't remember him ever being like this kind of like macho, like looking for a fight. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so that's pretty
It's like the
funny.
same thing when you were like, when Tien and Shoutsu were like saying stuff and doing stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, that's weird. These guys aren't like this. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, I'm glad because they're really terrible right now, and like I wouldn't want. I'm not invested in trying to understand them. Like they're terrible people.
Yeah, they're terrible. I think in this episode too, we see Roshi leaves everybody at Kame House, and
Yes, I'm pretty
Tien,
sure.
and Chaozu like go to like find the Dragon Balls.
Yes, I'm
So
pretty
that's
sure.
cool. I think both of their Tien and Chaozu's characters kind of like changed pretty drastically over the last season.
Tien's definitely does. Like Chaozu's, I don't have a terrible time with because he just seems like he just kind of goes with the flow and just does what
Hmm.
he's told. He kind of seems like a little kid in a way.
Yeah.
I'm not like terribly bothered by him kind of changing sides really quick, but like Tien, like kind of overnight, like super changes. You know, like
Hmm.
it's not terrible, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's a hard pivot. It's just a hard pivot.
Tien just needed people to love him, you know? That's all he needed.
Yeah.
Chaozu is more like talkative too in this arc.
Yes. Mm.
Oh, Tien. Yeah, but I thought that's cool. I think that's cool that they're with Roshi. And Tien even calls him like master now.
Yeah.
And
Master.
but there's still a little bit of Tien in there. He wants to fight, he wants to
Yeah.
prove himself, which is cool. Yeah, so then Yajirobe eats Symbol,
Certainly does.
and King Piccolo feels it. Oh.
Oh, someone's eating my son.
And Pilaf's like, oh, I'm sure he's all right. And he's like, no. It's pretty great. Do. All right, so 106 is terrible tambourine.
Yeah. This
This
is
is the
when
yeah, this
Goku is
is the
like,
one.
hey, don't eat him. Please don't eat him. But he's like, I'm eating
Yeah.
him.
No, it'll be fine. And then he cuts off that like thick
Yeah.
steak, and he's like, there's a chicken. pretty great. It's pretty great having another character that has like Goku's like appetite, just jumps all over that thing, just eats, just bites parts of it off.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's pretty great. But this is the one where Tambourine goes to find Girin.
Giran, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is crazy, right? To see him
super
again.
crazy. That was crazy, and also the like return of merry-go-round gum.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
wow. I was just like,
Well,
it
again,
really was surprising.
it's this storytelling of like seeing how we've seen how strong Girin is, and we've seen how strong merry-go-round gum is.
Right,
It takes a Kamehameha wave to break it.
right, right.
So now here Tambourine is, and he's just like just breaks
Yeah.
through it with his shoulders.
Impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the one. This is like, all those villagers come over and they're like, "Oh, thanks for defeating Girin. Yeah, he's been
Oh yeah,
attacking our village forever." And
the
he's just
father
like,
and son. Yeah.
he kills
He
that
just
kid's
kills the
dad.
dad for no
Yeah,
reason.
and then when is he says something like awful after he's like,
He says Giran was a job. Your father, I
"It's
killed
for
for fun.
fun. It's for fun." Ah, that's
It was
messed up,
bad.
man. It's
And I was
messed
like,
up.
okay, like this is now a different show.
That's worse than the shopkeeper getting shot, in my opinion.
Yeah. Especially when I thought when he first happened, because I think it's just an animation thing, and maybe they were trying not to like absolutely like destroy little kids' minds, but when the dad first falls over, I
Yeah,
was like, oh,
but it was
he's
just
just hurt.
stunned.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, he's dead. I'll see you later. And I was just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Your father I killed for fun.
yeah.
It's all just a big joke.
All just a big joke. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, but then Piccolo telepathically wants him to find Symbol's killer.
Right. Yeah.
And then Master Roshi and Tien they find one of the Dragon Balls, but I don't remember if this is the one where they're in the cave or if they find a few. They find a few Dragon Balls, but I don't remember. One of
I
them they
don't, I
get
think
attacked by
it's
those bats, remember?
the crows. Yeah.
Were they crows? I thought they were bats. They were in like a
Yeah. There were
cave.
crows in the show.
Oh, okay. That's right.
I think doesn't he come this is where they show them looking for it, but this is where Tambourine shows up at the Kame house, and
Oh,
he's looking for
oh yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he shows up to that island and he's like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm looking for."
yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, it's that direction." And he's like, "Oh, thanks." And then he kind of like looks at Yamcha and he's like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
I like how Yamcha's like broken leg now is just bandaged and he's kind of
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to
yeah.
move on it pretty good.
And
I
Yamcha
was
and him fight, and then Launch shoots at him, right? Yeah.
I was really glad that um after what happened to Yamcha in the tournament that he was able to hold his own and not just get like just
Oh
smashed
yeah.
around. I thought that was nice. I
Yeah,
thought that
yeah.
was nice. He actually held his own pretty good with a broken leg.
Yeah, and I got kind of concerned because I thought too he was like I think he was about to do the same thing he did to Giran, and then it was like King Piccolo was like, you
Hmm.
need to find the symbols killer. And he's like, I'll be back.
Yeah. I like how in that scene, they're like, "Oh, nobody's gonna find us over here. We're totally safe." And they're like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And this guy's like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to find a
Yeah.
pink house on an island."
And they're also not bothered that he's some sort of like hideous monster thing.
No, no, it takes him a while to remember, like, "Oh, do you think this green guy has something to do with
Yeah.
the other green guy.
But yet again, Bulma was absolutely losing her mind when she saw Goku with a tail.
Oh yeah, I know it's
I
crazy.
was, I was like, okay,
Yeah,
you have no reason to think that.
no, no, not when you have people like, especially like people like Girin running around too.
Right, exactly.
And she's totally fine by this guy. This guy's got he's a lizard man with wings, and she's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Oh
no,
yeah,
that's over that way. Totally normal. But his tail, oh, whew, that's weird.
this
Now
is this
in one
this
of
is
these
where they
episodes,
yeah.
we get to see the president or the king of Earth.
Oh, is that
I
what that
don't,
was?
yeah, I don't remember what episode it was.
Okay, I don't think it's this.
It's either coming up or it already happened. It's like a very brief. Man, I don't remember. I think Pilaf and Piccolo are going there for something.
Okay.
Maybe it ends there because Pilaf's like, oh, it's really dangerous over there. He's got like lots of turrets and
Oh,
yeah.
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember. Yeah, I don't
This,
remember.
but this is the one where they find the Dragon Ball on like in the ice.
Oh, and Tien blasts it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yes. Yeah.
My favorite one is when Roshi lifts that rock. He lifts that giant stone. Yeah.
Oh,
And he has to like reach
yeah.
under. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
Tien and Chaozu are just like standing there watching.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember now.
It's like they forget that that Chaozu has like telekinesis, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So a 107 is called Tien's Atonement.
Yes.
So I wonder what happens in this episode.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting.
Okay.
This is the one where they open up and all of a sudden they're just like on some bear person's like pirate ship.
I was so confused when this episode started.
Me
I was
too.
like, did I start the wrong episode? Because sometimes
Right.
Crunchyroll is really weird.
It
Like
is.
it'll go all the way to the end of an episode and it won't like automatically start the next episode.
Right.
So you have to
Right.
like sometimes go back and start the episode. And I clicked on it and I skipped past the intro and it was just like, "Yar, mateys, you're not taking me balls." And I was like, what the frick is this? Is this the right episode? Am I
Oh
in the
yeah.
middle of an episode? Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah. So there's pirates. So there's still current pirates, which is interesting because remember the episodes with
Yeah,
like
the episode
pirates
where
treasure and everything.
with the robot and yeah, and they were like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty great. Oh man. I think this is also the one where Goku's like, there's gonna be another monster that's gonna come try to find that ball, so I'm not leaving.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Drew will be like, this keeps running away.
Yes.
And Goku's just chasing him through the woods and stuff. Oh man. It's pretty
Yes.
funny. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, that funny part happens when they're on the ship where Master Roshi is like, I can't pay 1,000,000 zenny for the Dragon Ball. He's like, but what about a lottery ticket and some beer coupons? And he's like, no. And then they go to shoot him, and then Chaozu does like the Matrix thing where he stops
Oh,
all the bullets. Yeah, right. And then I was like, and then Roshi says, "Oh, those coupons are looking pretty good right now." Hmm? Like, nah, it's like that's funny.
yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. And then they track another Dragon Ball down into the center of town.
Yep.
Come to find out this is some dude that Tien beat up in a tournament that we never saw.
Yes.
And so it's like it couldn't have been like somebody that we knew, you know?
No,
It was like, oh, I remember. Remember 4 years ago when you broke my leg?
I
It's like,
remember everything.
I remember everything.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if this was like Nam
Hmm. That's
or
true.
that guy that shouts who like burned that mummy guy.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd have been pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. I mean, Tian kind of has his forgiveness, you know?
The thing that was like crazy that the guy says is like that it took him 2 years to get back home.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's terrible. He's like, I have
Well,
a
because he
wife
was,
and a child, and he's like, it took me 2 years to get home. And I was like,
yeah, well, you
wow.
shouldn't have left him to go fight in a tournament then, dude. I don't know what to do. Yeah, well, why did it take so long? Because he got like rushed to the hospital. Then
He
it
had
was
like
like,
he had like 15 broken bones or something like that. Yeah.
oh boy, pretty good, pretty good.
And then the police come in and they're like, "Oh, don't
Mm.
you know who that is? That's Roshi." And he's like, He's like, "Oh," and he gets down on his knees in front of the guy.
Oh, because they thought TN was the one going around and killing martial artists.
Yes.
And Roshi's like, he's not killing martial artists, he's with me. I'm a martial artist. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then it shows
pretty. Yeah,
the
his
little
like
boy.
son has the Dragon Ball.
Hmm.
Yeah, pretty cool. Do. I think that's about it for this episode. It's mostly about that.
Yeah. The last thing that happens is Tambourine shows up and
Oh,
he sees yeah, whatever his name is, Yajirobe.
yeah. And he's like, I thought I killed you. No,
Yeah.
pretty
And then
cool.
I think it ends with basically like, yeah, like Goku's about to fight him, and then it goes to the next episode.
Yeah. I just love that he like shows him like he's like, where's my brother? And he's like, oh, I ate him. I ate him.
Yeah.
I ate him.
It's just
He was so good. Oh boy. All right, so episode 108 is Goku's Revenge.
hmm.
So Goku fights Tambourine and like immediately has him on the ropes, which was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he kills him with the Kamehameha. That's right.
Hmm.
Isn't this the one where he like jumps like out of the sky? It's like one of my favorite things that Goku does. It's like when he's like he he's like flying through the air and he's like Kame
Oh,
and he's like flying towards.
yeah, because he uses the power pole. He's like, power pole
Oh
extend.
yeah.
He's like
Yeah,
up it,
because
and as he's going up it, he's like, ah, man, and he's like flying up the pole.
which is funny. Sometimes he can charge the Kamehameha without even having his hands together, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
He
Then he
just
jumps off and he's like, man,
it's
and he
pretty great.
I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
do that thing where the light flashes over him and you see the outline, and then the outline
Yeah, yeah. Like
peels
turns to
away.
dust, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah. Piccolo's not too thrilled
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. And he basically wants him to. He moves the flying ship to go find Goku, essentially like the killer of. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. This is the one where they go in the cave to find the Dragon Balls.
Yes, and the group, the crows, and either they attack the ship, and then he's like, "Shout soon!" He's like, he just murders all the crows.
Yeah. This is also too. It's funny because this is Pilaf is like, they're getting out of the Dragon Balls,
Oh yeah.
and Piccolo's like, yeah, good. And he's like, what do you mean good? And he's like, well, then we don't have to find them, idiot. Like we have one. They're gonna have to come for this one,
Yeah.
which is such a typical bad guy move, right? Like, yeah, let them find all of them, and then we'll take them.
We will do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
After they get out of the cave with the Dragon Balls, like I think this ends with where Goku is like, he's like, It's somewhere right here. I can see it on the
Oh
radar."
yeah.
He's like, "But where is it? Where is it?" And he's like, "Above." And then they look, and it's yeah,
Yeah, Pilaf's plane thing in the sky.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The funny thing that I, I was just thinking about was like there's a lot of episodes where it's like Roshi in the plane and they're
Mm,
like looking at the dragon radar and he's like, "Oh, these two bottles, that must be where Goku is."
mm,
And
yes.
I was like, "All right, maybe this next ball will be the one where, where Goku was." And it like never is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, and I don't even remember like what. Well, we'll get there. I don't remember. I don't remember seeing them towards the end, but my brain's not working. All right, so episode 109 is Goku versus King Piccolo. So this is the episode we've all been waiting for.
Yep.
Finally, Piccolo and Goku fight each other.
All that for a drop of blood.
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's literally Infinity War because they're collecting all of the Dragon Balls and like
The five Infinity Stones, seven Infinity.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the one guy who's been preparing for this the whole time tries to take on the major alien from another world, and it's like, no,
Mhm. Mhm.
no one has ever done that.
No one makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yep, 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 yep. And you're thinking like, hey, Roshi and everybody will show up and help, I'm sure. But they're
everybody.
looking they're looking for a Dragon Ball. This is the one where he lifts that rock and he
Yeah,
runs down the hill and that stone is like falling after him. And
yes,
everybody always runs straight, nobody ever runs to the
yes.
side. Then he jumps the cliff and he's like, whoo.
Yeah,
The rock like bounces off the cliff and goes psh, like right over the thing. Crushes him against the wall and he drops the ball down the canyon.
yeah,
Oh man, it's pretty great.
yeah.
And
And
this
then
is the first time in Dragon Ball that we start to see like more like power moves, like if
oh
that's what you
yeah,
want to call them.
he does
Like
like that.
Piccolo's hand goes like, psh, and you see all the
Yeah,
lightning around his hand.
yeah.
It's
And he
cool.
shoots like the thing out of his finger, and he's like,
Cha, cha. Yeah,
which is very Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Dodon wave.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
uh, is this the one too where he gets like freaked out when Goku goes to use the
Yes.
command? Yeah,
He thinks it's the containment wave.
yeah, yeah, and then it like just barely doesn't do anything to him. It hits him like center chest, and he's just like, "Oh, thank God! I thought that was the evil containment wave."
And then he just pretty much annihilates Goku
Yeah, yeah, he blasts him pretty good.
to the point where I was like, oh, like, is this seriously
Mm-hmm.
like, are they seriously going to end with Goku being dead? And like, because I figured he was going to get the thing, and then instead of like resurrecting Krillin, they were going to bring back Goku and like all this stuff. And I was like, is this where this is going?
It's cool in a way to see a villain that is stronger than Goku. We've seen Goku fight a lot of people that is like either he's like hungry and he's not fully strong enough, or just like he just like flicks them and it's like devastating, like cripples their bones.
Okay.
But this was like, Goku really he fought his best, and Piccolo just kind of wiped the floor with him.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun to see Goku not like as not stronger than his opponent for once.
Yeah, that's the thing where it's like they do a good job of setting up how strong Goku is like over,
Yeah.
these 100 episodes or so, where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, he does this thing and like, he can crush something or blow something up, or a single punch is like insanely powerful, but now it's not to Piccolo, right? King
Yeah.
Piccolo is able to withstand that punch or that kick or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where this is old Piccolo. This is old man Piccolo.
Yeah,
so
true, true.
so 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 it's gonna be real bad.
The funny part that I thought, the two things that made me laugh was when Yajirobe, like, I think is he gonna bury him or something? He goes over and he like listens to him, and then you hear
Yeah.
the weird heart noise. It's like plunk, 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 plunk. And then he's like, take me to the river, and then he's like holding him by the ankles and like essentially like drowning him. It was so I was like, what is
I
happening?
think yeah, that's the next episode. But
Oh,
yeah,
is
that
it?
is that is
Oh,
super
okay.
funny. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I
because
thought I
then
thought it was this episode where he tells him he does that to him, then he tells him to go to Corin's tower.
so episode 109, the very end is when the Kamehameha like glances off of Piccolo, and it's like,
Oh,
oh, you're
oh,
you're
oh.
you're done.
Gotcha.
So let's just do it. Yeah, so episode 1010 is Piccolo closes in,
Oh, okay.
and it opens with Piccolo like critically wounding Goku and taking the Dragon Ball
Okay. I
and
thought he did.
leaves.
Got it.
Yep. And then, like you said, Yajirobe comes over. He's like, "Oh, you never even stood a
Yes.
chance. If only you had help. If only you had somebody with a sword that could come and."
Hurt him. King
Yeah, and he
Piccolo
hears
is
us, and he's just like,
delicious.
And you see his hand like,
Yeah.
water, water.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, and he's like toast. The thing that I was gonna say in the last episode, I really enjoy the animation of like Goku, like all battle damaged, and his one eye is like closed more than the other one, and he's
Yeah.
like, ah. Yeah, I think yeah, that picture behind you is pretty.
Yeah.
His eye is like, barely open because he's been
Yeah.
punched in the eye so many times.
Smashed around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. But then, yeah, so Goku wants to go to Korin's tower, and Yajirobe's gonna take him there, and it's like a really nice car.
Yeah. That he
And
stole.
Goku's like, "This is a nice car." He's like, "Thanks, I stole it."
Yeah.
It's pretty great. I love how Goku's just like his energy is just done, and he's just laying in the car.
Yeah. Thought it
He's
was
like, "You
interesting
need to
that they're
go."
gonna go to Corin's tower. I thought that was
It's
interesting.
cool, right? Yeah. Well, because Goku knows like I need to get stronger, so I gotta go to Korin's tower,
Yeah.
which is fun. Yeah.
But then he Master Roshi like goes to that like island thing, and then they hide the Dragon Balls in the hole,
Oh yeah.
and they wait. And then kind of like a Peter Venkman thing happens from Ghostbusters with Roshi. It's like
Yeah.
him and Tien are like talking in that cave, and he's like, "Oh, blah
Oh
blah
yeah.
blah." And Tien's like, "Oh, blah blah," and then and then all of a sudden he's like, "Psst," and it's just like, "Oh," and it's like, why does Roshi have a paralyze?
You know exactly
And
why
I do
Roshi.
know, and that's where I come in the Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah.
It's like when Peter Venkman shows up at Dana Barrett's apartment for his date, and she opens the door and she's like, "Are you the key master?" And he's like, "No." And she closes the door and he opens it back up and he's like, "Yes." And then later, when they cut back to the scene, she's like hyperventilating on the bed and he's on the phone with Ray and he's like, "Oh, she's knocked up with like 100 cc's of Thorazine." And it's like, where
Why?
did you get that, Peter? Like, why did you have that on you?
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah. I like that though. I like how well, the whole time too, like Roshi says, like he doesn't even know how to do the containment wave. He thinks that like it's gonna kill him if he uses it like his master.
Yeah,
And then, Tien wants to fight Piccolo and he's saying like no,
right.
because he'll kill you, and then he basically stuns him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Piccolo does that. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing. Shoutsu kind of does it too. I don't think Tien did, but maybe he did. But like they do this like floating, like you just move. Like Piccolo does this. He
Mm,
doesn't like go like huh, and then like fly. He's like he just kind of goes like and just
yeah,
comes down.
right. Yeah. I don't remember if they do it.
I know Shoutsu does because that's like the whole time he just keeps going
Mm,
up in the air and then is just like standing there
yeah. Sky dancing.
skydancing, right? Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that, like Roshi's plan is like, we'll steal the Dragon Balls when I distract him, and then Piccolo's just like, and just eats the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's not good.
I think it gets into the next episode, but like, wasn't there another episode where something had ingested them and they couldn't find them on the radar? It feels like a familiar thing.
I think thought, they
Um,
thought that that's the case. Like if something ingests them, they don't show up on the radar.
yeah.
And I think that they thought that's what happened, but they were in Pilaf's like lunchbox that was.
Okay.
Remember, he had that little lunchbox where it was like you couldn't
Yeah.
see the Dragon Ball in there,
I
but they
remember.
all thought that like something organic like consumed it.
Okay. Because I thought when she says it, which I think it's in the next episode, but like they, she says it, and I was like, yeah, that kind of sounds familiar that they say if something has ingested them, like you can't see it on the radar.
Yeah. I think it's funny that they're all like watching the radar and like just assuming what happens by, and they're like, "Oh, two are gone."
How strange.
What do you think is happening? Like, oh, I'm sure Master Roshi did it, and they're like, "Yeah, but what if he didn't?" Well, then that's really bad. And then that's really, really bad. All right, so 111 is Roshi's Gambit.
Yeah,
So Roshi and Piccolo like kind of fight in this episode, right? Oh,
they do.
Roshi just dodges like all of his attacks.
Kind of.
And
He
he's
gets
like,
smashed around pretty good.
yeah. He's like, I don't wish to fight you, Piccolo. He's like,
Yeah.
I fought you before. And he's like, you didn't fight me before. He's like, yes, I did with my master, Motahito. I'm like,
Oh.
"Ah, you. Ah."
Yeah.
Oh no, Sire's scared.
I've
Yeah.
never seen him skag before.
Oh, oh, oh.
Evil containment.
And then he has a different, and I so wish I knew what the thing said on the side of it, because he like throws it the rice cooker thing, and it has all these like Japanese letters on it.
Yeah.
I was like, probably says rice on it or evil or
Yeah.
something. It
Yeah.
says
I just like how he has a capsule in his pocket with a rice cooker in it, you know? It's
never
pretty
know when
great.
you have to do evil containment wave.
Sure. Well, I mean, he knew he was going to fight Piccolo, so I'm sure he
Yeah.
thought he thought he might need it. Oh man. And how funny is it too that like first of all you're like, "Oh man, so he actually knows how to do it?"
Yeah, yeah. I was
And
like, yeah.
Tana's like, "Ah, if I could just see it once."
Yeah.
And then he totally misses the jar.
I was really surprised. I really was surprised
Yeah.
when he misses it. I kind of thought he was going to get out of it, Piccolo, because of that scene where it shows his hand like trying to break through the wave,
Mm-hmm.
but then he gets sucked, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And then I assume Master Roshi dies. I don't really know. It's hard to
Yeah.
tell in the show if somebody's just knocked out or dead. You know?
Right. Yeah. I don't think that he missed the jar. I think what happened is the jar blew over.
Yeah, like
Like
the lid
last minute, kind of
shoots.
like yeah,
Yeah,
because of the wind and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a bummer.
Well, I think that was the weird thing, right? Wasn't it the fact that he like Roshi didn't think about it? It was the fact that Mutaitu, like he does the thing and he's like, ah, and the first time, and then he
Mm-hmm.
hit, and then Roshi shuts it. Like
Yeah.
Roshi's there, like helping him,
Yeah.
and it's
So what was his plan?
like why isn't he having Chaozu or Tien like help him? Right? It's like if you knew it took two people to do it before, why are you doing it one person?
I don't know. Because it was doomed to fail from the beginning.
It's because the plot needed Piccolo to.
Well, yeah, you got a whole other half of this
You're right.
Piccolo saga.
Right, exactly.
You got 20 more episodes of Piccolo. And then next season is Piccolo Junior saga.
Oh no.
So yeah, that's why he missed. But this is when yeah, so Master Roshi kind of like falls over. He's like, "You haven't won." And then like it says it says here in Wikipedia, it says unfortunately, Roshi misses at the last second and dies. So I
Oh,
don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if
interesting.
that's true. Yeah. But yeah, so this episode ends with Piccolo like having the dragon
Yeah.
like rise, and you're like, oh boy, this is bad. This is not good. And the next episode, 112, the last episode we watched, it's kind of a spoiler because you
Yeah,
know
true.
it's called King Piccolo's Wish.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that's not good. But I like how Chaozu like runs from out of the from behind the thing.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I wish. And Piccolo just destroys him.
Yeah. You know
Oh
what's
man.
funny too is I was 1 year old when this came out. Exactly. I turned one when this episode came out in Japan.
Oh really? Well,
It's pretty funny.
that's crazy.
I was ready for it.
That's really fun.
I was like whatever. I was like 15 when it came to America.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Or 16, I guess.
did you expect Piccolo to blow up Shenron the dragon?
No,
No. Yeah.
not even slightly. In fact, I thought he was gonna do it, and then it was gonna somehow like make like Shenron was gonna be like, "You attacked me, so therefore your wish is negated," and then be like, "Oh no, no," whatever. And it was like, no, here's his chunky arm flopping to the ground. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Which was a lot smaller.
truly, it was this tiny little baby feet or something that
Yeah.
you can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? That
it was super crazy. I
blows
really,
up. Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that way nobody else can find the Dragon Balls and make a wish.
so it legitimately feels like that Krillin is dead, Roshi is
Yeah,
dead, and Chaozu is dead.
seems like it. Yeah.
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 Bring back all of my friends. But
Yeah.
now, but like he destroys
It's
it, and it's weird. I'm actually honestly for once I'm like, okay, now I don't know where this is going because
yeah,
most of the time, like we've talked earlier, it's usually like you kind of understand where it's generally going to go.
that's true.
Like I
Yeah, it's
have no
interesting.
idea. Like obviously the Dragon Balls are still a thing because it's called Dragon Ball. It's not going
Uh-huh.
to be, and it's like, and I know from a small spoiler that you gave me that there are more than one of these great dragons.
Mm,
So it's like, I don't know anything, but I just know that like there are other dragons and other balls or something of that nature. So
right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, the show is called Dragon Ball, so
yeah,
there has to be Dragon
this
Balls.
isn't like, it's like when we finish the King Piccolo saga, it's not like that's the series finale. So I know there's more to come.
Yeah.
But I am very interested to see. I'm looking forward to the next stretch because it's like I said, it's all unprecedented things. Like they kill off so many characters from old and now current, and then also Piccolo makes his
Yeah.
wish, which was like I didn't expect to happen.
Yeah.
And also he kills the dragon. What's his name?
Shenron.
Shenron? Yeah, okay.
I don't think they've mentioned it yet in this show, but yeah. Other than
I thought in the first
Goku,
episode when he sees him, but maybe not.
maybe, yeah. Other than Goku bringing back Bora with the Dragon
Hmm.
Balls, like this is like another like serious wish.
Yeah.
Like the first season, it was like the wish was like a comedy thing,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but like this one is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the episode that I was thinking of was they are on their way to the kingdom of Chow to take over the
Oh,
kingdom, like kingdom of Earth, basically.
huh, okay.
And King Furry is
Hmm.
like he's that little blue dog guy. He's like the king of Earth.
I don't remember that. I don't think I got there.
I think they show it in this episode.
Do they? Okay, I do. I just don't remember it.
It's after Piccolo makes his wish, he goes back on board the ship, and
Right.
he
He kills
basically,
them. He kills the dragon,
yeah,
and then they cut to Goku um I don't remember the Korin's tower thing, and then I don't remember King Castle. I really don't. But
mm. Well, yeah, maybe rewatch the middle because it he goes on the ship and he's talking about what his plan is, and his plan is to take over the kingdom of Earth, basically.
okay, I must have something with that.
And it even shows the king granting those people's like wish. They're like, oh, we don't have this thing, and we need this thing, and he's like, oh, everybody can have it.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's like just a little section there where it shows him, and Piccolo is like Piccolo's like, oh, is the King of Earth like, a bad guy? And they're like, oh no, he's like super kind-hearted. And he's like, oh, good, he'll be easy. And then he dumps he dumps um peel off Mayan's shoe like off of the ship.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It all's
I
in the
must have
same
like
section.
hit I must have hit like fast forward on accident. Wow, okay.
Yeah, there's a little section there where you get to see him.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, pretty good. But yeah, that's the King of Earth. He's a little blue dog dude.
Because literally what I remember was like they he goes back to the ship. They cut back to Goku talking about uh Goku being like, "Oh, I don't see the Dragon Balls anymore. I think somebody's like done away with them." And then the next thing I remember was Tien being like, "No, not Jatsu, no!" And he's like freaking out, and then them getting kicked out of the airship, and then meeting Upa at the end. You know,
Oh yeah, that was cool. I forgot about that.
yeah,
I forgot about they actually make it to Korin's tower at the end, and
yeah,
Upa and
Bora.
Bora are there.
Yeah, so my thumb or something must have hit fast forward by some amount, and I missed all that stuff.
That's really funny. Yeah, it was cool to see those guys again.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm super like I'm telling you, this next stretch I am very interested in because you got Korin Tower again, which is really cool. I actually
Mm-hmm.
like Yajirobe. I like him a lot.
Yep.
You have two main huge characters, potentially dead. Well, Krillin is dead, but Roshi being dead is kind of huge to me. The
Yeah.
dragon is possibly dead. The
Well,
Dragon
that's the
Ball
thing.
may
Now
be
there's
permanently
actual
stones.
like
Yeah,
actual stakes now,
right, right.
There's no easy like
And Piccolo has his youth back, right? And potentially like eternal youth. Potentially, I
mm-hmm.
don't really know, but just potentially. So,
Yeah, pretty cool. Do you think Goku's gonna climb Korin's tower, or do you think he's gonna like fly up there somehow?
well, I don't think he knows how to sky dance, so I think he's going to climb it again
It's true.
because he doesn't have the Nimbus cloud. I mean, unless
Yeah, but remember
Yajirobe
last
like climbs him up, like puts him on his back and climbs him or
maybe.
something.
Yeah, maybe. Remember last time though the Nimbus was destroyed and they're like, "Oh, the Nimbus is never destroyed. You just call for the Nimbus again and like another one just
Oh,
comes."
yes,
But I don't remember. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
it will
So
be.
look, here's the middle. Oh my god. Oh my god. Uh, blam. There you go. So here's the middle of the episode, and they're showing. You're like, I have no recollection of this.
Not at all. None of this.
These two guys are asking for something.
Nope.
I don't remember which, and then the king's like, "Oh yeah, of
Oh
course you
wow.
can have it."
Nope. No idea.
It's
Wow.
15 minutes and 48 seconds in,
I
and
must
then
have.
like, and then like right after this is when.
That's what I say. I remember this. This is what I somehow skipped it. I don't know how I did, but I
That's
did.
funny. That's pretty funny.
I must have like
It was just a
held
real quick. It
down
was a
or
real
something.
quick thing. They're just kind of showing you like how the king is, and
That's
Piccolo's
fun.
on his way to take over. Yep, pretty good. But yeah, that is it. That's the last episode. So next time we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So next time we're watching 113, which is the siege on Chow Castle. So that's the castle I just showed you.
All the
And
way to final showdown.
yeah, 122. It's gonna be pretty good.
Pretty crazy. And I think after that, it's like 2 more things, and then that's it. Like, it's
I
crazy to
know.
think that, like, this is wrapping up.
It's gonna be pretty crazy.
Because once we finish this saga, like, it gets into the next one, which is the final saga. So
I know. I
So,
know. I'm very
I am,
excited.
yeah,
Very
I just say I'm
excited.
genuinely interested in this next stretch,
Ah,
and obviously the final saga, because to me, which we'll talk about probably at the end of next month's thing, but like, I am anticipating next saga to now be like the lead into the show that I'm sort of familiar with. So
mm-hmm.
it's kind of like you, like, not to say it here, but basically it's kind of like you watching the Kirk movies and then being like, "Oh, this all ties in," and it's like, no, that's what I'm
Yeah.
waiting for. Is like, no, none of this ties
No, this doesn't.
in.
No. No. Mm-mm. No, it does. It does. It all ties in.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's like, well, yeah, Goku and Roshi and Bulma all come over. That's, yeah, and the rest of it is nothing. Like,
None of these, you don't see any of these people again.
we don't know who these people are.
This Goku is not even the same. It's not the same Goku in Dragon Ball Z. They're just different.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, so that is it. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next month when we finish the Piccolo saga. It's gonna be pretty great. We're gonna get to see Corrin again, so that's always fun.
Yeah. Can you drink the water? Can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, don't
interested to see
forget
what he does.
he has the sensu beans up
Does
there.
have sensu beans. I just remembered
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yep. So that'll
Mm.
be good. Ah, pretty great. All right. See you next time.
Be as free as you can be, a childlike love of fantasy. The world is a mystery for you and me. A miracle, an adventure to a single wish waits for you. The beating of your heart will see you through. When you think you can't go on, give it another try. The power of your youth is strong and as big as the sky. Search all over the valley, the mountains, and you'll see